All right, guys, let's go ahead and rock and roll, man, because I got a lot of information to cover tonight. Let me set this up for you guys first. If you have not done so already, please make sure you guys know that Augusta, I see you coming in. Welcome, welcome. The last day to register for Game Changer is this Sunday without a late fee. So we got to go ahead and get the pre-registrations in. This Sunday, a late fee kicks in on registration. That late fee is $50. By now, if you have not registered, then we pretty much know you're not coming. So we want to give it until Sunday at midnight. You want to visit IM-AGameChanger.com. That's IM-AGameChanger.com. Do so before Sunday night to avoid the $50 late registration fee. Huntsville, welcome. New Jersey, welcome to the webinar. People are still coming in. I appreciate it. All right. Also, give you guys a couple of sites where you can get some free training. Write this down. You guys know my belief: personal growth first, money comes second. So make sure you guys visit www.amentor2millions.com. That's a mentor, like you mentor people. A mentor, two, which is TO, millions.com. That's a new series I'm giving away called 3 for Free. So you guys want to make sure you take advantage of that. Again, A as in Apple, mentor, like you mentor people. 2, which is TO, millions with an S.com. Join, become a part of that 3 for Free series. Wardolph, Maryland, I see you. Welcome to the webinar. Also, if you haven't done so already, some more free training. And also this will get you, help you get qualified. If you join, it's on myEcon.pa-ys.com. myEcon.pa-ys.com. That's pays with a dash in the middle. myEcon.pa-ys.com. Make sure you guys go check that out too. More free training. So I'm going to give you those two websites. Let's go ahead and get started. If you guys are brand spanking new, I want you guys to know I'm going to go very fast tonight because I got a lot of information to cover. And I'm going to give you guys the answers to arguably the best financial literacy sheets and charts on the planet. These sheets have helped make a lot of people a lot of money once you understand the importance of using a strategy as opposed to sales. So who am I? Who are you looking at? My name is Brian Bean. I'm the founder of the Extra Digit Movement right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm shooting from the house because unfortunately, the weather conditions between the fog and storms in Atlanta and the threat of snow tomorrow in Chicago, airports are shutting down all up and down the East Coast. So we just kind of felt like it'd be better to stay grounded until some of this dust settles over the next couple of days. So what I want to do tonight, guys, is get right into our 369 financial transformation. We're here basically to give you guys an understanding on how to make your money grow. It's two things I always want people to write down when you see a presentation. Does this make sense? And should someone be sitting next to me? I want you to write those two questions down. Does this make sense? And should someone be sitting next to me? If the answer to those questions is yes, then just sit back, relax, take away any distractions, TV and all that good stuff, and let's talk about some financial education tonight. So how do we do this? Well, first, let me give you guys a better understanding. As you know, most people are overworked, underpaid, and really just sick of their situation. Most people don't have enough money to travel. Most people are not satisfied with their relationships because, let's face it, finance without romance can be a nuisance. Friendships, dream cars, dream homes. We want to get people to understand that you don't have to wait on the future to start living out your dreams. Believe it or not, you can start living out your dreams today. The money that you currently make, the money that you currently have, that's actually going to be the key to your financial freedom. What we do is we show people that you have two goals in America financially. The first goal is that your current lifestyle has to be paid for with your labor. In other words, what does that mean? That means we go to work every single day for what? Well, to pay the bills, to keep a roof over your head. You go to work every single day to keep the bill collectors off of you. But unfortunately, most people don't realize this, but you're supposed to go to work for two objectives, not just one. The first objective, again, is your current lifestyle is taken care of by your labor. The second objective is your future lifestyle is supposed to be taken care of with your investments. The problem with that is most people don't make enough money currently right now at work to even think about the future. So why is that important? Well, because The future is now. I want you guys to write that down. The future is now. If you don't start taking care of your finances right now, then guess what? That's where you will always lack. You have to make your finances a priority. It doesn't mean an extra digit we chase money. It just means that we believe in getting money out of the way. So with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to our 369 transformation and some of our goals. The first thing you have to understand is that you won't ever hit your goals if you have inflation and taxes taking a third of your income. Okay, what's inflation? Well, inflation basically means the value of the dollar drops every single day because businesses will always force the price of goods and services up higher. So in other words, if gas was $20 to fill up your tank 15 years ago and $20 today only gets you a quarter of a tank, the same $20 is not going as far. So here's a good note for you guys. You have to put your money in things that outpace inflation. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you tonight the 4 things that keep you from succeeding and hitting your 2 goals. And then we're going to give you guys the solutions to those 4 things. So the first thing that keeps you from hitting your goals is inflation. If your money is not growing at the rate of inflation, then you will always struggle financially. That's why they say the dollar is worth now about 73 cents. So in 10 years, you're going to need double what you make now just to break even. Let me say that again. In 10 years, you're going to need double what you make now just to break even. Now, here's the thing about the second challenge. The second challenge in America is simple: taxes. Now, I want to look in your eye because I want you to really think about this for a second. Why do we overpay taxes? Now, how do we know we overpay taxes? Well, easy. It's called a tax refund. A tax refund basically means that you gave your money, too much money, to the government. The government took all the money out during the year in the form of taxes, and then we celebrate when we get a tax refund. Well, the problem with that, guys, is that inflation eats into, one, your tax refund. The other problem with the tax refund is that if you had that money during the year working for you, then the government wouldn't take so much out of your paycheck, and then you could pay down your debt, which is the third challenge in America. So I want to make sure this is clear. All the challenges work together, all right? The cost of business increases every day, so the cost of your goods and services will also increase every day. The second thing you got to remember is that if taxes are taking 1/3 of your income, that means you're working for the government for 1/3 of the year. So here's a note for you guys while I put the slides back up here. You work for the government from January to April. If you have a job, there's nothing wrong with that, but just know the bulk of your money is going to the government. Now, the third problem with limited income and the challenge you'll face is called debt. Debt robs you of the second third of your income. Why is that important? Well, if you had the mortgage money, the car note money, the student loan money, if you had the Visa and MasterCard money, how much further would you be on your investment side? See, here's what you guys have to remember. Anytime you are making a payment to a bank, you are an asset to them. Anytime you are making a payment to a bank, they are a liability to you. So I got tired of being somebody else's asset. So I bought the last 3 cars I bought cash. I don't have any car notes. The student loans, history. Credit cards, 0. You know what I mean? You got to get in your mind right now that debt is the enemy of your financial success. And last but not least, big business. So let's keep it in perspective. We're talking about the 4 things that keep you from hitting your goals financially. Inflation, cost of living going up, value of the dollar going down automatically. Taxes, the government takes the first 1/3 of your money. So if you have a job and you make $50,000 a year and the government takes $18,000, then you really have $32,000. That's what a job does. Again, nothing wrong with a job, but be thankful for your job, but not satisfied. That's where the first third of your money goes if you have a W-2. See, in America, we have a choice as to how we make money. And most people pick a job because that's what we're told to do. We're taught to do it. And it's not a bad vehicle as long as you understand that it's only there temporarily to take care of a current need. Very seldom does your job take care of your current and future needs. That's crucial. Last but not least, I want you to keep in mind that if you had your tax dollars up front, then guess what? The debt that you have during the year will be lower because you lowering your tax liability and shifting that money over to the banks that you owe. Credit card, student loan, Visa, Master, car note. Here's the question you want to ask yourself before I put the slides back up. How much more money would you have if your debt was zero? If you had no debt, how much money would you have? That's something you got to really, really think about. And if you knew the answers to that, it would trip you out. And last but not least, big business robs you of the final third of your income. Flat screen TVs are getting flatter. MacBook or PCs are getting faster. Cell phones are getting smaller. Actually, cell phones are getting bigger. So a lot of you guys got to remember, we have to understand that big business robs us of our wealth. That's very, very important. All right. And just so you guys know, in Google Hangout, I can't go full screen on the PowerPoint. So I do understand you love for it to be full screen, but in the Google Hangout, you can't control PowerPoint slides. All right. So what are we? We are extra digit. We separate ourselves by being different. We teach people a strategic approach to getting wealthy as opposed to a sales approach to getting wealthy. Now, I want to make sure this is clear. I actually made my first $1 million in sales. So I'm not knocking sales. I'm not saying anything is wrong with sales. I was very, very fortunate to go from 3 figures to 4 figures to 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures working right out of my house. I work from home now almost 20 years. So I want you guys to think about this for a minute. When I was 22 years old, I was actually able to retire and fire my boss only because what? I understood the power of owning and operating a home-based business. The challenge was I made my first $1 million in sales. I didn't understand the tax game. So guess what? I actually lost my first $1 million in my 20s, not because I was frivolous and not because I was irresponsible. I didn't understand some of the things I understand now, like investing, paying your children, the laws of taxes, the laws of capital gains, dividends, appreciation, inflation. I didn't understand that. So my first $1 million should have been 10 million. So when you look at it, I was like, okay, I'm young. I made some mistakes. I was able to recover. I'm telling everybody now, you see people that make a lot of money, but guess what? Basketball players, professional athletes, boxers, whatever, baseball players, they'll tell you it's what you do with the money. So here we show you guys what to do with the money. So let me give you guys an introduction to our 369 financial transformation. Here's how this works. I want you to write this down in your notes somewhere. A wealth principle known as cash, asset, cash. You got to learn this principle of taking the dollars that you make now, which will come from the cash flow that we're going to show you how to create. You buy, build, or grow some type of asset, and this asset has to generate you some more cash. Bottom line, see, here's the key, guys. You won't be able to work for the rest of your life. So you have to have some kind of asset that brings in money, that brings in revenue, that's not taxed as much as labor, so you can really start enjoying your life. That's the key here. Now, here's a cool thing about what we're doing. Under normal circumstances, this type of investment in most home-based businesses will be $600, $300, $400, $900. Under normal circumstances, we are $179.29 a month. That's under normal circumstances. Now, Brian, why do you keep talking about normal circumstances? Well, because I want to make this clear. As of right now, you guys are not under normal circumstances. We have a $50 discount happening right now in our company that will give you the strategy, the software, the system, and the support you need to be successful. That's right. For a limited time only. Somebody put you on this webinar. If you're brand new, let them know that you want to take advantage of the $50 discount and take your $179 down to $129. Now, people say, well, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is I'm about to show you how just opening a home-based business with the attempt to gain a profit and share our software with others, share our education with others. The tax advantages of a home-based business are in your favor as long as you have one, as long as you're operating from your home. The worst case scenario, you save about $500 to $600 a month in taxes. That's about $7,000 a year that you could now start investing. See, people miss that. People think it takes $1 million to make $1 million. You can get to $1 million about $500 at a time. You cannot underestimate the power of compound interest and investing. That's very, very important. So make sure you write that down. I got to take some cash. Brian, I don't have any cash. I'm broke. I was too back in the day. Where do I get the cash from? Here's the answer. You get the cash from the people who are getting it from you. That's the key. Brian, I don't have no cash. What you talking? You get the cash from the people who are getting it from you. 9 times out of 10, that's government, banks, and big business. All right, let me keep going because I get excited about this, man. I got so much to show y'all tonight. I'll stay on this all night. So we gotta take advantage of, while you can, take advantage of the $50 discount. This is now $129 if you're brand new. So what does it get you? Well, let's look at this real quick. The first thing we got to do is we got to free up your cash flow. Now, what does that mean? Well, as of right now, most people get taxed anywhere from 28 to 33%. Listen to me, guys. I don't care how much stuff you sell. I don't care how high your salary is. If you're getting taxed at 28 to 33%, the government is getting more wealthy off your money than you are. So the philosophy has to change. If you have a job, you're saying I work, I pay taxes, and then I spend third. What we do in myEcon and Extra Digit is we teach you how to create 5 income streams with 1 income stream, with 1 business. We teach you how to bring in 5 more. So here's what happens. Let's say you guys go out and you readjust your W-4. Your W-4 is the form that you filled out when you first got your job. Now that you have a home-based business, you're entitled to way more exemptions. You want to go back and look at page 2 of the W-4. That's where the secret is. See, our whole company, myEcon, was built on helping people correct a mistake. Write that down. All you guys that are reps, that's a good nugget. Our whole model was built on helping people correct a mistake. Most people are giving away way too much right here. They're giving away too much in taxes because their W-4 is not filled out properly. Or they don't realize that if they had a home-based business, they could get more money up front and use that money to invest and go to work. So what happens is this. Let's say we take the $450 from a W-4 adjustment, which changes your W-2 paycheck. And let's say we then take this scenario and start paying this debt off. So we use the tax dollars to pay off the high balances. Now, if you teach people how to adjust the W-4 and use that money to pay off their debt, now you can start getting checks from myEcon, thousands and thousands of dollars per month. So now you got 1 income stream back, a 2nd income stream back. Bonus checks are coming in. Why? Because you're showing people how to get the 2 new income streams. Then you start monitoring your expenses. Now you start taking revenue 1, revenue 2, revenue 3, revenue 4, and you start growing assets. In this example, you flipped your cash flow around by $5,762. See, that's strategy. That trumps sales. You got it? So we create income. You don't have to go out here and work harder. I know a lot of people who work hard that don't have a lot of income. That's the key. We also give you what's called a cash flow manager with your software. Just giving you guys some screenshots here. Here's how the cash flow manager works. If you take the cash flow manager and download it on your cell phone, it's going to ask you a couple of basic questions. Do you want to enter your income? Do you want to enter your expenses? Do you want to capture your receipt, or you want to log in your miles? You make a selection. After you make the selection, it's going to tell you what date did you do it, When did you get paid? What was it? Who, by who? What was it for? And for example, what city you live in? Or if it's an expense, your Verizon cell phone bill, 117 on this date, communications. This app now translates to your software on your computer. The phone now communicates, because it's web-based, with your computer. You can also enter your expenses on our software. So let me give you an example before I show it all to you. Meals and entertainment, March 20th, $47. Applebee's. I had lunch with Extra Digit, Atlanta, Georgia. We were teaching 243. I drove 40 miles to Applebee's. Well, now guess what? All of this, all of this is sent automatically to a spreadsheet. You paid $179 to join the business, or in your case today, $129. You got a bonus check for $1,400. The monthly fee on your website is only $29. There's your cell phone bill. There's Applebee's. There's the miles you drove. You now print this out or put it on a zip drive and take it to your CPA. And guess what? She loves you forever. Or he loves you forever. Why? Because you're keeping excellent records. See, that's the key, guys. One of the ways to minimize your taxes is the government just has to see that you're treating your business like a business and you're not treating it like a hobby. That's the key. There are 3 ways to minimize your taxes: excellent record keeping, revisiting your W-4, and investing. The taxes are your biggest expense. So what people do, though, they try to budget their way out of trouble. If we just cut these cell phone bills down, man, if we just stop eating out so much, man, if we don't go to the movies, and what you do is you start not living life because you're trying to budget. When what most people should do, they need to look at the one thing that's really killing them. The taxes is what's killing you. Revisit your W-4, lower your taxes. Keep excellent records, lowers your taxes. And learn to invest, it lowers your taxes. The government basically penalizes you if you don't have a home-based business. So what we did, we wrapped our home-based business up in one model. That was genius on Mr. Stokes, our owner's behalf. Genius, genius, genius. So let's keep going here. So I'm just giving you ideas of how the software actually looks and what it feels like and how it works. We also have an online shopping mall. For those of you guys that like to shop, we don't go out and sell these. You can basically give these away. But what we do is we figure, hey, if you're going to have a big group of people that you're showing how to get their finances right and they're shopping online anyway, why not throw in a mall and let you all get paid from the cash back from these Fortune 500 companies? So when you go to Priceline, get a plane ticket, get it from yourself. Restaurants.com for coupons, and Walmart, PetSmart, Target, Macy's, all these things. You have a shopping mall now that'll give you cash back. Now, with your business, you are playing by a different set of rules. This is very important. See, now that you have some cash, you now can teach people how to get some cash. Wait a minute, Brian, I missed it. Where'd I get the cash from? You revisited your W-4. You started watching and monitoring your spending and putting it in our software. You're keeping records now of your spending, so at the end of the year, your tax liability will not be high because the government gives you a huge tax break on the money you make in a 1099. See, people miss this. In America, how you make your money determines how you get taxed. If you get taxed on a W-2, it's one way. If you get taxed on a 1099, it's another way. If you get taxed, if you sell a house and get capital gains because you sold some real estate, see, that's taxed a different way. If your investments make money, if money makes money, see, that's taxed a different way. So the middle tax bracket is a 1099. You've already lowered your taxes because you get to pay yourself first. You get to pay yourself first. Brian, what do you mean? Okay, let's look at this real quick. Before your home-based business, you made $50,000. You got taxed on the gross, 18,000. So you only took home 32,000, and then you got to pay your bills. Let's say that's 18,000. So you got 12 months to live off 14,000. There's not enough left to invest or even thinking about investing. That's about $1,000 a month. And guess what? The kids haven't eaten yet. No recreation yet. Nothing, no fun, no vacation yet. This is just taxes and bills. Okay. Now, what happens is if you start a home-based business, the rules of the game change. What does a home-based business do? Well, now you get to write off your square footage. You get to write off a percentage of your cell phone, a percentage of your utilities, a percentage of your meals, entertainment, travel, mileage. So now look at the difference in formula. You make $50,000 a year, but you get to pay your bills first under a 1099. Now you get taxed on what's left after you pay your bills. So look, guys, you can pay a higher percentage of 50, or you can pay a lower percentage of 32. That's called income shifting. So if you do this, you've saved yourself $11,000 a year, which is $900 a month, which is $225 a week. Now, let me come back so I can look you in your eye and just say this to you. Guys, if you got $11,000 a year that you're saving because the government legally, ethically, and morally lets you subtract your expenses first, then that equates to $225 a week in tax savings. Then you're using the tax dollars to get out of debt. There's nobody watching this webinar that can't tell me you can't invest $200 a week, $800 a month. You do the math and multiply $800 a month by how many years you've been working, put it at 8%, that's almost $750,000 you have. You see? And then you start adding in the bonuses and the things I'm about to show you now before I close out. That's what you call putting gasoline on the fire. Everybody watching this webinar can get wealthy. Listen to me. Everybody watching this webinar can get wealthy. But the key is using your own money to get wealthy and stop giving so much away in high interest and taxes. And we'll talk about that in a second. So as I conclude, Brian, how do we put gasoline on the fire? All right, I'm glad you asked. Let's put some gasoline on the fire. Builder bonus checks. Now that you have a home-based business, you earn an extra $1,000 for every 7 referrals. That's right. You don't have to know these individuals personally. Okay. You can earn $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. You earn this money every single week as 7 people join your base shop or your organization after you hit EVP. Here's a quick note for you guys. EVP is 3 people. You want to quickly introduce 3 people who want to lower their taxes. Quickly introduce 3 people who want to get out of debt. Quickly introduce 3 people who want to stop giving, to start giving less money to the government. 3 people who want to start investing. Once you hit 3, the 4th person starts your journey to 7. At that point, they're 3, they're 1, they're 3. From that point forward, you're earning $1,000 for every 7. We got people making thousands of dollars per month just in extra income. Then you add the tax savings and it's over. Now, let me say this to you guys before I give you some special information tonight. If you remember what I started this webinar with, everybody in America has 2 options. 2 objectives. Your current lifestyle is being paid for with your labor. Your future lifestyle is being paid for with your investments. If your current lifestyle is barely taking care of your current situation, new people, what does your future look like? That's what you got to ask yourself. If you've been working 10 or 15 years and 129, We're giving you a $50 discount. $129 is something you got to think about, something you got to ponder. You got to wait till Friday to check on what's going on. If you don't make a change and invest in you and your business, when will $129 ever become $1.29? You want to get to the point where $129 feels like $1.29. Not $129 feels like $12,900. You know what I mean? You got to move the decimal the other way. $129 should feel like $1.29 if you're over the age of 18 and you've been working longer than 10 years, which I'm assuming is about everybody on this webinar. So if 129 feels like 129,000, we got to fix that. Here's the key. You got to learn that your money is making somebody wealthy. The question is who? Your money is going to make somebody rich. You got to ask yourself, who is that person going to be? So at this stage in the game, let me show you one final slide. There are basically 3 types of people watching this webinar right now. All right. Person number 3 says, thanks, but no thanks. The number you give us determines your game plan. If you're a thanks, but no thanks, hey, we appreciate you for taking the time to watch the webinar tonight. I'm about to go over some other really incredible things if you want to stick around. But if nothing else, you didn't waste your time, and I hope you don't feel like we did either. And number 2 says, I'm in. I'm in primarily for the strategy. Okay, number 2, stick around because I'm about to go over some in-depth strategy with you guys. And number 1 says, I'm in and I'm ready to earn these $1,000 bonuses. In other words, I'm all the way in. All right, couple of quick things. First, you want to get qualified. If you're number 1, the person that puts you on this webinar will show you how to get qualified. All you do, you pay your $129, right? Again, it's a $50 discount. And then you pick one of our products or services that activates you and keeps you qualified every single month. That's very important. That now allows you to start getting bonuses because you qualified to get the bonuses. Without the selection of a product, all you're doing is working a strategy and you're going to forfeit the bonuses. So make sure you get qualified.